For over a decade now, we have been waiting for this very moment. What you can see on screen. The end of the Wano arc. The fabled Wano arc that has literally been built up for over a decade. If we go back to 2012, that was around when Punk Hazard started to be written in the manga. And it's crazy just how much time has passed. Like, 2012 feels so long ago. It feels ancient at this point. And it's crazy that it's taken that long, over a decade, to finally reach the end of Wano. And I want to talk about everything. I kind of want to talk about this chapter, what it represents, and some of the things that I think many might not truly understand, and how powerful this final chapter really is. Now, one thing that obviously I think everybody is going to be talking about is definitely this beginning sequence right here, where you see Yamato say that they're not going to go out to sea with the Straw Hats, that they're going to stay behind, journey around Wano, learn about the land, and then one day jump on the Straw Hat ship and journey with them. That's what Yamato declares within this very chapter, and even before I saw the community's reaction today to that news alone, obviously, there's going to be a lot of people upset with that. Because, for one, the way the entire Wano arc has been presented for Yamato's character, Yamato really did 100% seem to join the Straw Hats. Like, Yamato was going to jump on the ship and be a part of the Straw Hat crew going forward into the next arc. That's what everybody assumed, because of just everything, with the connection of Ace and Yamato and Luffy and everything with Kaido. Just everything was kind of being set up for that very moment. But obviously, when you see this chapter, Yamato declares no, they're not going to jump on the ship, go on the Sunny Go, and travel with Luffy. It's going to be a while until that potentially happens. And it's a very heartbreaking moment, honestly. It's like a lot of people are probably very upset with this chapter just with that alone, because it's like, for one, we have Carrot to talk about. Carrot's another character that has been built up for a while, since basically the Zou arc, and many people assume thanks to Carrot in the Zou arc, to the Whole Cake Island stuff, to, you know, what we've had with Wano and all of that, people assume Carrot was gonna join the Straw Hat crew as well. I did. I thought Carrot was gonna join. Many people thought that, but as Wano continued to have more and more chapters, Carrot's overall screen time and importance pretty much kind of dwindled on, and wasn't really that important from that point on. Like, for instance, like, yes, Carrot had a great moment in the previous chapter, basically being the new leader of, you know, the Mink tribe, but overall, Carrot, you know, no longer had, like, that commitment probably to go out to sea with the Straw Hats and be with them. That's kind of been, you know, pushed to the side because Carrot's going to be watching over the Minks. So, obviously, we put that on the back burner, and people were disappointed with that. Then Yamato gets introduced, and Yamato gets a lot of following. People like Yamato, and people are like, whoa, this is a really cool character. A really nice powerhouse female character. Would definitely really mix up the dynamic a little bit, because we'll actually have a frontline female fighter. That'd be cool. It really would. And I think many people are obviously upset with the fact, for this chapter alone, just that Yamato isn't instantly joining. But obviously, there is so much more to this chapter than just that, and I feel like many people might miss the point of the message of this chapter, and the true significance of what this means going forward in One Piece. So, there's one big thing that I want to point out here. You have basically Luffy declare to Momo himself that Momo is like a little brother to him. That's literally what he says. You're basically my little brother. And that's big. That's really big for Luffy to say to someone, because brother and Luffy, we know those words mean a lot. Very, there's a lot of meaning there. Like, there's so much meaning. In fact, I say they hold more meaning than just Nakama and, you know, being a part of my crew. If you are Luffy's brother, that's big. Because, like, let's think about Luffy's brothers, Ace and Sabo, and how he feels about Ace and Sabo. He loves them, and we've seen how the journey has kind of shaped Luffy thanks to some of the things that's happened to his brothers. And the fact that Luffy even says to Momo that you're my little brother, he's kind of being like that Ace character for Momo. He is the ace that, was for Luffy, basically, but he is being the ace for Momo, and I appreciate that little dialogue. It's really wonderful, it's sweet, and it shows how much care and love that Luffy has for Momo. Like, Luffy really believes Momo will one day be the greatest shogun, and one day be one of the most powerful warriors potentially in the entirety of the One Piece verse. That's truly his feelings on the matter, and this really plays in with Ace's character and Sabo's character. I mean, let's be honest, Ace and Sabo 100% believe that Luffy will become the Pirate King. That's what they believed in. They truly believed that. And that's basically what Luffy is like. He believes that Momo will become the Shogun. Technically, he has become the Shogun, and he will be one of the best Shogun. Luffy has 100% faith in that, and it's just such a beautiful moment. I love the entire message of that. It really plays a lot with the themes of just Ace in general, with what we've seen Ace's kind of role with the Wano Kuni arc. I think it's great. I think Oda did a fantastic job with that. But obviously, there's a lot more to this than just that. We have the stuff where he's like, hey, you can always join if you want. Like, for instance, Yamato, Kinemon, Momo, if you ever want to be pirates, you're welcome on the ship. You're welcome to join and set sail with us. Luffy literally says it himself. And basically, what this implies is a higher status than just like, we saved your island, we allied with you, and we, fixed the island back up into a proper way. What this basically is that Luffy's like, hey, you guys are technically a part of the crew. If you ever want us to pick you up, jump on board. You're an honorary Straw Hat. That's literally what Luffy said to them. So, in a way, the status of Kinemon, Yamato, and Momo is very similar to Vivi. And now, I really do like that message. I do like how the characters are offered that, and that, one day when, let's say, we get to the final segment of the final arc that we're about to get into, we're gonna see these characters jump on board and potentially start working with the Straw Hat crew and operating the Sunny. That would be an amazing moment, and I would love to see something like that, and that's probably going to happen in the future. But once again, this is just major setup, and it's a very beautiful moment. Now, a few other things to talk about, I think, that needs to be mentioned, is also how this represents the conclusion of, like I've kind of talked about at the beginning of this video, a decade-long journey. Literally, Wano's build-up to take down Kaido, Big Mom, and save the land of the samurai has been a 10-plus year journey. It has not been a short journey. And when you get these words at the end of the chapter, the end, it's like, wow, it's over. It's legitimately over. And we're going into a completely fresh and new arc, and we really don't know what to expect. It's been literally since 2012 or beyond, since, we were in this type of moment, this feeling of what's really next for One Piece. Like, it's been a long time since, like, an arc was coming to an end, or a mini arc was coming to an end, and we're like, what's the next island? What's the next theme of the island? What will be next for the story? Obviously, the characters are going to be searching for the road poneglyphs and, Laugh Tale, but we don't really know what island they're going to land on next, what major theme of the story is going to be next, if there's going to be a detour or whatever. We have no idea, and I think that is a very powerful moment. We're going into the unknown in this next arc, and I appreciate that. I love that feeling of really not knowing what to expect and what will be next for One Piece, and, when will we find out more about the Straw Hat bounties and everything? Will that kind of play a part in what direction the arc takes? Will the stuff with, like, Vivi and whatever happened with Sabo, etc. at the Reverie, will that play a part in the next arc, with whatever Luffy decides on their journey? There's so many questions, so many things you can get, and I love that unknown nature. It's been so long since we've actually had that feeling, and I think many can agree with me, it's a great feeling. It really is, not knowing what to expect and what vibrant and wacky theme Oda will throw out next for the One Piece story. So, let's talk about the significance of the arc, Wano, and just like how it is in general. Wano's arc, in summary, I could say it's one of the strongest and one of the weakest arcs, I think, of the entire One Piece story. Now, the reason why I say that is because I've kind of alluded to this before, talking about it in previous videos of this arc of Wano, but I think Wano is an incredible arc, but there's a lot of things that feel off about it, maybe rushed, and why some people don't like it, and there's a lot of content within it that I feel like Oda maybe have changed courses or directions in the middle of the arc. Like, he completely shifted directions and maybe the storylines maybe with Zoro, instead of having a very heavy focused Zoro arc since it was the land of the samurai, he shifted to other aspects with like Yamato and all that type of stuff, and I feel like there's a lot of different directions Oda took this arc that I feel like he just last minute changed. I could be wrong with that because I have no proof, but it is the feeling I get, and I think many people, when they really try to objectively, at the very least, look at this arc of Wano, there is two things people say usually. They say it feels rushed and slow. And it's the truth. Now, obviously, if you were to binge read this arc, you might get an entirely different experience. Because One Piece is one of those series, I will say, it is a better experience to read in bulk than actually consuming on a chapter-by-chapter basis. I will 100% say that. Because there's so many arcs, like, within One Piece that some people just do not like, and if it's, like, chapter-by-chapter, like Dressrosa. Dressrosa, I remember reading that in the manga, watching the anime, etc. Dressrosa was a slog. It was, but when I went back and I binge read the manga for that segment and I watched the anime for the segment, even though the anime was a little bit down in quality, it is a much better experience to binge watch or binge read it than just reading it chapter by chapter, week by week. And I feel like maybe Wano's impression might change in the future. Maybe people overall might feel that Wano is a better arc when they sit down and start it from the beginning to the end to be like, man, this actually is a really good arc. Or maybe it really just will carry on that feeling of rushed and slow at the same time, because there's so much going on with it, so much content. It feels jam-packed with so much content, but there's so much content that it feels like Oda had to go over a lot of different plot lines very quickly, and it felt very spread thin when it came to the story of Wano. That's my impression, at the very least, at this point, at the conclusion of Wano. But as I said, it is one of the strongest and one of the weakest arcs. I don't hate the arc, but I feel like there is definitely areas that could have been cleaned up. I didn't like Kinemon's role and how he survived so many near-death experiences. I did not like the reusage of, let's say, Chondro and how he just didn't die after the first time. I didn't like kind of Orochi really in like the second half of the story. He felt more just as a throwaway character at that point. And obviously there is significance to him, a symbolic message, but overall I just felt like he didn't really offer much. And then we have stuff with like, you know, the supernovas and, you know, how Big Mom was handled, to the amnesia of Big Mom. There's a lot of things that just are kind of like, or, you know, you wish that was done a little bit differently. But then you have great moments like Robin having her really great moment of fighting for Sanji, Sanji's great moment of character development, to just seeing some great stuff with Momo and him standing up to try to be a better man, to, you know, Yamato facing Kaido, to getting to see Zoro demonstrate his strength and scare Kaido, to seeing, you know, all of our Straw Hats really having a good role and being really strong and powerful. There's good moments throughout the arc. Even Yasui, he had a really good moment. I really like Yasui's entire theme throughout this arc. There's good stuff. And like I said, just as how much good there is, there's a lot of bad as well, and it's going to take some time to really think about this arc and just really, I think, people to settle and say if this is one of the best or worst arcs of One Piece. But regardless, the arc is over. It is the end, and I am curious to see where Oda takes it next. But that is the end of Wano Kuni. Wow, 10 years. But okay, I guess I will leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy my content, as always, I would greatly appreciate if you left me a like. It helps out with the algorithm, makes me happy, and I really, really enjoy getting to see that number go up, honestly. I will be honest with you. And with that, be safe, stay healthy, Chibi out.